All right. It's a new era for Tatooine Sons. This is going to be exciting.
Yeah, let's do this.
What are we talking about today, BB Nate?
We're talking about, this really excites me, the Snyder Cut.
This really excites me. Yeah, I know, it does excite you. What about you, Samuel?
And I'm finding some interesting stuff about the Falcon and Winter Soldier. This could be a really good series.
Yeah, and they just, the critics' reviews just came out this afternoon, so that'll be fun. And of course, this is Tatooine Sons. It wouldn't be Tatooine Sons without some Star Wars. And so don't worry. If you're listening to this and you've been listening to it for the last 3.5 years, we got a lot of Star Wars talk to do on this as well. That's all coming up after these advertisements that were specifically chosen for you based upon the powerful tracking ability of big tech. This is Tatooine Sons.
It's true. All of it.
What is the name of the porg on the Millennium Falcon?
Force is strong in my family.
What do you think his name is? It's a big moment.
I am a Jedi, like my father before me.
Maybe Turbis?
Do or do not. There is no try.
Turbis? Pablo, if you're listening to this live stream, that porg's name is now Turbis. It's a good Star Wars name.
We're not done yet.
These guys recorded an awesome podcast called Tatooine Sons. Everybody was
This could have had serious repercussions. So can that.
Yeah, I think that
That's just
the
another
issue
film.
was it felt like they were bringing the
And they
X-Men
could always
over.
bring the X-Men back in.
And they didn't. But why don't we do this? Welcome. Hey, thanks for listening. Welcome to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast. We believe that pop culture is the mythology of this generation and that there is a story written on our souls and that these myths speak to that story. And that's why we talk about Star Wars and Marvel and DC and Lord of the Rings and a bunch of other stuff, which we've never really talked about a lot of those other things on this podcast, but we're going to now in the new era of Tatooine Sons. I'm David. I'm the dad.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, what's up?
Hello, Father.
Hello. I am.
Hello,
I
Father.
should insert that in there anyway.
Yeah.
I'm joined by a couple of pretty cool guys, some amazing sons. First, we've got Sam.
Hey, welcome. Thanks for listening. I'm excited.
And then Nate.
Hello.
We call him BB Nate. How you doing today?
I'm doing good.
You're doing
I'm
really
excited.
good. You're like it's like the week before Christmas.
It's
For you, yeah. So all right. So when we got things, when we started, we were talking a little bit about Quicksilver and MCU and WandaVision, and that show has reignited, I think, for me at least, my love for the MCU. I've always loved the MCU, but it's my excitement, I would say, for the MCU. Overall, now that the series is over. Sam, you're going to be talking in just a little bit with the guys over at the Reverend and the Reprobate show about WandaVision and then Captain I always do that.
Captain and Winter Soldier.
I do that every time. Falcon
I
and the
would
Winter
love
Soldier.
to have seen that series.
Yeah,
But
anyway, what did you think overall about the WandaVision series?
You know, it was a lot of fun. It was a great series. Did something unlike really any show has at this point. But overall, the story kind of felt a little not uneventful, but just unimportant. I mean, I know it didn't really felt like it set up a whole lot of new stuff for the MCU. All it did really was character development for Scarlet Witch and probably bring in Vision. Otherwise, it seemed pretty unimportant.
Interesting. What do you think, BB Nate?
I thought it was very good. I think that the story is more important than we're allowed to know right now. I think that's a good way of putting it. There are a lot of things I think were very important. I think that we don't have to worry about Vision anymore. I think he's kind of back.
Yeah.
This was just an origin story for Scarlet Witch rather than Wanda.
Mm-hmm.
We already had Wanda's origin story. Now we have Scarlet Witch. So
right, that's fair.
I think it works better. I'm excited for Doctor Strange. It set that up quickly, and so I think it's good. I enjoyed it.
Overall, great series. Like Star Wars. I think that the guys, when you were on
Something about something
the other night, Wednesday night on Facebook Live, they were talking about how we've always treated Star Wars as all Star Wars is good Star Wars. I kind of feel that way about the MCU and about that. All Marvel's good Marvel. I was excited. It was super fun anticipating that. I love where they went with the series. I think the character development with Wanda and Vision and the relationship there. I loved Agatha. I just was disappointed with Quicksilver, but in the end, not because of the. Well, I think the joke was inappropriate. It was unnecessary. But at the same time, I think it set up something that they just didn't deliver on, and I feel like they were doing that to sort of pick on the fans and tease the fans versus, Anyway, that's my own personal opinion. But let's talk a little about some other stuff because we went to the movies the other day.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Love going to movies.
I know some people are like loving the whole home release thing, but there's just something about going to the theater.
Yeah, it was awesome. We went and saw Raya and the Last.
Raya.
I always do that. Raya and the Last Dragon. BB Nate, you are a cinephile of this group. That is. That's like a book lover is a bibliophile.
I thought that was bookworm.
Oh, well, that too. But it's like
I'm a cineworm.
The technical term is bibliophile, and a movie lover is a cinephile. What was it like going to the movie theater and specifically seeing Raya and the Raya and the Last Dragon? What was it?
It's so good to be going to theaters again. I'm excited that Marvel's staying on their ground and
don't tease ahead too far.
Only releasing on theaters.
Okay.
For their movies. That's not spoiling. I thought that the movie itself was very good. It suffered sometimes from having too fast a pacing, which I guess isn't a huge complaint.
Right, of all the things.
Sometimes it's too slow, and I think too slow is worse than fast. But I really do think it was a fantastic Disney movie and so impressive with the animation for being all at home.
Sam, what'd you think? I agree. It did not suffer in quality by being produced at home. It felt as good, if not better.
That was actually really impressive.
Yes, it was visually stunning at moments. Like, it was really good. Story was a lot of fun. It felt like a great action-adventure Disney movie, had the humor, had the good characters. And then one thing I noticed was the soundtrack was phenomenal. Yeah. Especially, like, you wouldn't think of, like, it's just a, for lack of a better term, generic Disney movie to have a super, like, good soundtrack, especially when it's not a musical. But the soundtrack was really good in this. Overall, a great movie.
Yeah, I loved it a lot. It was great seeing Kelly Marie Tran, or hearing Kelly Marie Tran have the lead in something. Played Rose Tico in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. She did fantastic. She's a Disney princess now, so congratulations to Kelly Marie on that. Very exciting stuff. And then before we jump into the rest of the show, I guess we should make the announcement that we're moving again. My God, I'm so tired of moving.
We've not even been here a year.
Yeah, literally a year.
Sam, just joking.
A year ago right now, we were finalizing the decision to move from Colorado to Orlando, and then through a number of different reasons, we're moving to Alabama.
It's sort of back to Alabama,
and it's all just because Sam's got a girlfriend.
No,
it's not because Sam has a girlfriend. Although that's a benefit. That's
a good way to put it.
We're moving back for a lot of different reasons. I'm excited to get back there. That's where both of you were born. Mm-hmm. It's where Christy and I were married. So that'll be happening literally May the 4th. Remember, we did our first Facebook Live.
Oh yeah, when we moved
on May the 4th.
Oh my word!
3 days after we moved into this house, we'll be moving into our new home in Alabama,
which we own,
which we'll be owning.
We're not renting.
On May the 4th. Most likely May the 4th or May the 5th. Mm-hmm. And so that's when the Bad Batch comes out, but that's a little bit later. All right, let's do this. Sam, you got something you want to talk about?
Yes, I do. All right, so we're only a week away from the release of The Falcon and Winter Soldier on Disney+. So we're going to unpack everything we know about this series so far. How's the world dealing with the blip? Will Sam become the new Captain America, or will it be someone else? And you ready for this? And could Red Skull's daughter be making her debut in the MCU?
What?
That's all.
Does she have hair?
Yes.
Be on your guard. There are older and fouler things than orcs in the deep places of the world.
All right, then, keep your secrets.
Your coming to us is as the footsteps of doom.
There are many magic rings in this world, Bilbo Baggins, and none of them should be used lightly.
Tons of action so far, and really emotional moments in the first episode.
The title,
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so it's exciting. So let's do this. Let's talk about Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Come on, Dad. Keep
I'll
up.
get it.
All right, so let's just go over like the general setting that this series is going to be set in. So Falcon and Winter Soldier is taking place after Avengers Endgame, and it's kind of like dealing with the world, like figuring out how to deal with about 4 billion people just suddenly popping back into existence. So, the world, like Bucky said in one of the trailers, the world is upside down right now, which, let's just be honest, if 4 billion people disappeared and 5 years later they all showed up, there'd be a few logistical problems.
It'd be even more upside down than during COVID.
Just a little bit. And then Sam, he's still deciding whether he's
got a good name.
Yeah, I like his name. I think that's a good one. But he's still deciding whether he wants the responsibility of carrying that shield or not. And then the government, it's trying to get the country to rally behind this new Captain America, air quotes, one that's not like a fugitive at this point.
Yeah.
One who didn't violate the Sokovia Accords. Okay.
And Bucky is still trying to figure out how to live in the 21st century. Other than that, though, setting details are pretty scarce right now. We don't know much about that. Dad, what are you hoping to see in the series? What are you hoping to see happen specifically?
Wow, that's a great question. I don't know, because like you said, we don't have a lot of setting for this. I'm not familiar with the Marvel storylines that sort of parallel some of these things. I know Baron Zemo's coming in. I'm curious about Aaron Kellerman's. I know we'll talk about that in a little bit, who played Memphis Nest in Solo. So I'm excited to see her in that. I think that the idea of this agent, what's his name again?
U.S. agent. I've got the name on here. John Walker.
Johnny Walker? I think Johnny Walker's a whiskey.
I think you're right.
It is Johnny Walker, red label, black label. I'm not very familiar
with my alcohols at the moment,
and that's good.
Good job.
So I think that what I want to see is them to flesh out a couple of things. First of all, flesh out the relationship between Sam and Bucky. This is a relationship that's been a lot of fun, but it's also been contentious. They joke with each other.
Level.
Yeah, we haven't seen them develop in here. Both of them have a really strong connection with Captain America, with Steve, and not a connection with each other, and now they're both grieving the loss of Steve. They expected him to come back at the end of Endgame. He did, but he didn't come back in the same form. With that, I bet you've got Sam that's probably feeling the weight of Cap giving him the shield, and then you've got Bucky maybe wondering why Sam got it and not him.
Yeah, I bet you that's part of his thought process. I mean, at the end of Endgame, it seemed like he was really willing for Sam. Like, he wanted Sam to take the shield. Like, he almost knew that this was going to happen. So I don't think he's too disappointed about it. But I'm sure there is a slight, like, creeping sense of, like, why not me?
Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm also really wanting to see the post-blip world. We didn't really get to see... We saw it in a literally like a snow globe in WandaVision. And being manipulated,
and Far From Home,
and then we saw it really briefly in Far From Home, but it didn't feel like it was far enough out. It was several months, right, Baby Nate?
I think it was almost a year after.
Yeah, it didn't feel
back,
like much had happened, or like if there was much turmoil.
There was emotions were all over the place still, but
let's just be honest. It's a bunch of high schoolers,
right?
In this one, high schoolers are going to deal with this differently than the rest of the world, because their world is their high school and their friends, and it's critical, but it's not the same. And then, so I'm curious to see what post Blip, post Thanos, post Iron Man, post Captain America universe is going to be like. So I'm really excited about that.
Nate,
yes.
So we talked about WandaVision a little bit and how I kind of feel like it didn't set much up. Do you think that this series will help set the stage for the next phase in the MCU?
Not necessarily. I think it'll be setting up again the characters. But I think that the TV shows are going to be setting up characters, and then the movies will actually make big strides in the story.
I think that's a good way for... go ahead.
Because not as many people are going to watch the Disney Plus series. And while WandaVision and Falcon are necessary to understand the story, you have bigger story moments in movies. And so... I'm just saying for all the people, don't get your hopes up that these series are going to be groundbreaking for the MCU. They're going to be setting up characters more than anything. So
I think that's a good way to do it too. That way, if you don't absolutely, want to watch the series and stuff, you're not missing.
Yeah, you can read a short summary.
Big timeline things in the MCU. It's just character development, and I think that's a good. It's like comics almost. Short form. Does a lot for the characters, maybe not a whole lot for the overall story. I think that's good.
Awesome.
But as for the characters, let's talk about like what we know and like where things are with them at the moment. So we've got Sam Wilson, obviously the Falcon, titular character, who's given the shield by Cap at the end of Endgame. But he was never actually asked to take up the role of Captain America. He was just, he was all Sam said is like, now I have to live in a world without Captain America. And so he was like, oh, that reminds me. And then he hands him the shield. So he never like specifically said it, but
it's implied.
It's very much implied. Yeah. So like, we're probably going to end up seeing Sam struggle with this responsibility. They kind of touched on it a little bit in some of the trailers and stuff.
Well, and then you see this image that came out during and I think it was part of the teaser clip that came out yesterday. That where Sam is like in a bedroom or something, and he's got the shield on. The bed, and he's in a suit. It's almost like he's at the funeral.
I think he was at the funeral for Cap. Yeah.
So did we see Captain America die?
Well, that's the title of the first episode.
Peace,
Rest
Cap.
in peace.
Oh my gosh!
What a way to start the series.
I'm dying here.
We had
that's
Iron
Cap.
Man die, and now we're gonna have Cap die. What are
Mom
you
is
doing
going to be
to us?
so upset because that's her character. That's her dude.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway.
So, but fortunately, it's the same Falcon. We'll see him deal with this responsibility, but he's still going to be flying around, making the jokes, and of course,
Has an awesome looking suit.
his suit does look cool.
It's the classic comic
I'm hoping
one,
towards the end of the series they change it to more like the Captain Falcon look from the comics, but he'll still be annoying Bucky. And like honestly, Bucky and Falcon's like relationship is so much fun.
I love it.
And then Bucky, he's still trying to figure out like how to function in this new era. Like he was there in Winter Soldier and Civil War and stuff, but he was a soldier the whole time. He was never really like just in society. So we're gonna probably see him dealing with new technology and like how things are, and probably helping Sam with the role of captain and like helping him decide whether he wants to do that or not. And then we got Baron Zemo. We haven't seen him since Civil War, so we have no idea what that guy's been up to. But
I don't remember how that ends.
Yeah,
so
he doesn't die. He was going to kill himself.
he was going to
but
kill
Black
himself.
Panther stopped him.
Right, Black Panther ended up stopping him. And then we have no idea what else. I thought he was thrown in prison or something. Maybe somehow he got out because of the blip or something.
Yeah, that's true.
But we have no idea what he's been up to. But
Maybe that'll show what happens in that type of life for people.
Yeah, maybe they'll show like what the people did during the blip because we haven't seen much of that either.
Do you think he was blipped?
I don't think so. I think he's been around this whole time.
That's bizarre.
And that's when he's had time.
Hadn't thought about that. That's cool.
Yeah, and he's got the cool mask from the comics.
Yay.
There's some people are speculating that he has that mask because it's to remind the Avengers of their one greatest failure, which is Thanos, because the mask kind of looks like Thanos. So I think that's a really neat idea. And then Sharon Carter, she's back. We haven't seen her since was it
Civil War?
Was it Civil War?
Yeah, she kisses.
Cap. That's right. Yes, you're right.
And then Bucky and Sam are sitting there
like,
watching, laughing at it. Yeah.
And the
move
tiny
your seat up?
buggy. No, it's over. So we haven't seen her, so we have no idea what she's been up to. Maybe she was blipped, maybe she wasn't. But she is kicking butt. She was in some of those trailers. She was really neat. What do you guys think that she may have been up to though? Like during Civil War.
Well, I guess we got to find out if she was blipped.
Say she wasn't blipped.
Okay.
Do you think she's been like a lone rider, like Hawkeye, taking out criminals?
Like Ronin?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be interesting. She certainly has got some skills.
Yeah,
She does.
It could be that she's, she was in the CIA at the end of Civil War.
Yeah, that's right.
And so she could have been working during that time if she wasn't blipped. She could be working in intelligence, and the world is in chaos
right
at this point. And so trying to deal with it, that's one of the beautiful or heartbreaking things about Endgame is that when you come back to the post snap, not the blip world, but the post snap world, it's just so depressing and dark.
It's dark and gloomy.
And then Hayward even talks about this in WandaVision, where he says, you disappeared and came back. I get it. That's bad, but we had to live through this, is what he says. And so it changes you. We saw it with Hawkeye, like you brought up. And I'd love to see a little bit more cynical, jaded Sharon Carter.
That's the vibe I get from what we've seen from her so far. Then we have this new John Walker character, a.k.a. U.S. Agent. This is a really interesting character. I had to do a bunch of research to understand who this person was. I had to check IMDb to make sure this was even legit, and it is. I was like, what? So this Captain America, air quotes, we see in the trailers is supposed to be the new captain. So like the government's like trying to get the country to rally behind a new figure, like because everything's in turmoil. So they're creating this new character of Captain America, or U.S. agent in this case, for the country to rally behind. Of course, they can't call it Captain America, probably because of like trademark issues or the fact that Captain was labeled as a domestic terrorist. One of those things.
Yeah.
So they've created this new character, and a little background on the character from the comics. It was created because fans wanted to Rambo-ize Captain, and the creators were like, that doesn't fit in Captain's character. That's not Captain. So they created this whole new character to take over while Captain hung up his shield for some reason. I mean, it was to show the darker side of patriotism. He's not a good guy. No. He's his American dream, like he twists it, and it's to make a mint and retire, basically. He is very self-centered, violent, does not care about others, in the comics at least. So this could show a really dark side of patriotism. Interestingly, we'll come back to this, but a villain introduced for U.S. agent was Flag Smasher, which we'll get to in a minute. But basically, this character is the like evil reflection of Steve Rogers.
So he's like a dark side version of him.
Kind of. He's supposed to be a good guy, but
kind of like Captain Hydra.
Yeah, kind of. So it's just like a think like old veteran who never like really left the war, and like is really twisted.
So that is Rambo-like,
very much.
You know, although anyway. Yeah.
So
you guys haven't seen
Rambo,
so.
It's going to be really interesting to see if they go that route with it or not. But it was a really interesting character to research. And then next up we've got just real quickly. This one was surprising. The Batroc the Leaper. If you don't remember who that is,
Batroc.
It's
yeah. Batroc, yeah.
Batroc from was this Winter Soldier?
Yes.
He was the mercenary who took over that shield boat at the beginning that Captain and his team were sent into to save. He was the French guy or whatever. Basically, he had a fight with Captain America, got kicked in the face. We haven't seen him since.
Wow.
He is a fairly like big bad guy in the comics or whatever, more like a C-level bad guy, but he's he's back.
He's D-list.
Right, he's D-list. So he's back. That's neat. I'm not sure what role he's going to play, if much. I mean, he wasn't a big deal, but that's cool to see him back. And then we've got like the next big character we can really discuss is Erin Kellerman's character, Memphis Nest from Solo. We know nothing about her.
Which is why I'm super excited about this character, because she did so good in Solo.
It is all speculation as to who this character could be. And there's some interesting ideas so far. So we'll come back to that in a second, though. The actor for Batroc, in an interview with Complex, says that the fan theories for this series could be even bigger than WandaVision.
That blows my mind.
Because there was so many for
Yes,
WandaVision.
I know. That's why
I'm still a little bitter. I still think that Senor Scratchy is Mephisto.
Dad, you went in with a headcanon. You can't do that.
No, he was Mephisto. In fact, they've even talked about they were talking about making that happen in the final episode, but they decided not to.
And he still might be a thing.
He could be, I think. Anyway,
But-
the fan theories were crazy with WandaVision.
So that actor is saying that they could be even bigger for this series.
Okay, here's a PSA, a public service announcement to all of you that are listening.
Speculate responsibly.
Yeah, it's cool. We did it. We've done it with all the Star Wars stuff. We do it with Marvel. We did it through WandaVision. I was probably more guilty of it than anybody. But hold your fan theories loosely, your headcanon loosely. It's cool. Have the fan theories. Enjoy them. But don't hold on to them so tightly that when they don't go the way that you expect, because they won't, then you get all upset and you get butthurt about it, like so many of you guys did with WandaVision. And that's just a public service
That said, let's talk about some really interesting stuff about Erin Kellerman's character.
Okay, go.
First theory is that she's Sin, or Cynthia Schmidt, which is Red Skull's daughter in the comic books. Now, I know the age seems a little weird, but in the comics, she was more of like a sorceress and like had technology. She basically like would de-age.
Are we talking magic here?
Kind of.
Like strange magic, Wanda magic?
Kind of.
Agatha magic?
She was like, she was called, I have the article, it was like Mother Superior or something like that.
Interesting.
So that is a possible theory. The main reason that idea is out there is because that character is a redhead, and Erin Kellerman's a redhead as well.
So that's headcanon.
Kind of.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Funny. So that is one of the theories out there. She would have to be de-aged.
We got dad jokes.
I'm not a too big subscriber to that idea. While I would think it'd be a really cool idea to bring in this, like to bring Red Skull back, but a new version for the new captain. I think that could be a really interesting dynamic, but I'm kind of holding that loosely. Interestingly, though, that character, Sin, had a relationship with Crossbones in the comics. Yeah, Crossbones is dead now, but there could be something there. And then we know that she is leading from like some leaks and stuff. We know that her character is leading a group called the Flag Smashers. We know from the mask and stuff. Sin never led that group in the comics, but she did lead groups in the comics, so it's not outside the realm of possibility. She could also be playing a character called Songbird. She was actually observed in filming like summer of 2020 using some powers that are very reminiscent of that character. She uses like sonic powers or whatever to like psychically control people.
Makes sense calling her Songbird.
Right. So she could have those powers and be used.
So this is a musical.
Yes.
Oh man, that'd be a great.
I don't think that she's singing. She just has,
that'd be awesome if you could see Sam and Bucky, doing a musical. It'd be kind of
like
be
Captain America,
a throwback to Captain America, the first Avenger.
You know what? I'm going to be disappointed.
This is my new headcanon.
I agree. So there's a strong possibility that she has those abilities. So we might actually be seeing more powered individuals in this. Could bring in X-Men, but she could also be the character of Flag Smasher herself. Which would kind of go back to the whole U.S. agent thing, because that was in comics. Basically, who's just an enemy of Captain America, but she led a group called the Ultimatum, not the Flag Smashers. Okay. So it might be a little weird to like have a Flag Smasher leading a bunch of Flag Smashers, but we do know that the group is called Flag Smashers, so it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to have her be that character. Or
I have so many jokes that I want to say about Flag Smashers, and I'm just not good at.
Okay, that's probably good. Good job. But she could also just be a combination of all of these things, or a couple of them. I mean, all of those like ideas could, like in one way, like work with each other. Yeah. So, Nate, which of these theories do you think is going to most likely pan out, if any of them?
I don't think that. No offense to you, but I don't think any of these theories are.
None of them.
No.
Okay.
I think that. I don't know what to think, and that's what I'm going in with. I'm not going to think anything, but I don't think that. While I would love to see Red Skull's daughter, which sounds really cool to see, it would be so awesome. But I just don't think of that, and the whole Flag Smasher thing, that seems the most likely, but I don't think that it will happen. I think this is just going to be a new character, and we got to kind of learn who she is and what her motive is.
Yeah.
So
I think BB Nate is probably the wisest of the group by saying that. I do think that she's got to be connected to the Flag Smashers. I've read enough to know that the Flag Smashers are a part of this series. So we've got her connected there somehow. I love the idea of her being Red Skull's.
It would explain
daughter.
why she was able to stand up to Bucky too. We saw that in one of the trailers.
Yeah. So again, it's one of those deals where you hold your theories and your headcanon lightly, and when the show starts, you kind of put that out of your head, get your popcorn and your soda or whatever your choice is, and
go along for the ride
and just enjoy it, take it all in. So I can't wait. I'm excited. I feel like I want to watch Winter Soldier tonight, but anyway. We don't have time.
No. All right. So the Falcon and Winter Soldier is set to release March 19th on Disney Plus. Mark your calendars. I think it's safe to say we all think this show is going to be a must watch for the future of the MCU.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So make sure to check it out. Nate.
Right. Cool. Nate, you got something you want to talk about?
My turn. So DC fans have been waiting for the Snyder Cut for almost 6 years, and it's finally here. This behemoth of a movie is all about...
Big word, BB Nate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's all about the greatest superhero team ever, in my opinion. We, more like me, will be talking all about the backstory of how it came to be, the excitement and the build-up to the cut, and the big changes from the theatrical cut of Justice League.
And all the Marvel fans just turned off the show. He just offended all the Avengers fans by calling the Justice League better. Yeah. Anyway, well, that's going to be up next after these commercials specifically chosen for you based upon your geographic location and your browsing history.
Uh-oh.
This is Tatooine Sons.
Have you ever danced with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yeah, I can fly.
I'm here to fight for truth and justice in the American way.
The people in this room, which one is A, wearing a spangly outfit, and B, not of use?
There's only one God, man.
And I'm pretty sure he doesn't dress like that.
That man has no limits.
Yeah, and there was a big dummy guy in that one too. Have you seen it?
I have once. It was a long time ago, though.
Anyway, so that's,
all right.
That's it.
We're going to go through the history of the Snyder Cut briefly.
I didn't want a history lesson.
We're going to get a fun history
we're
lesson.
Going to school.
I'm going to make it fun, okay?
Okay.
All right, explain. So if you're listening to this show and you know about the Snyder Cut, because I mean, honestly, if you're listening to a geek culture podcast or a Star Wars podcast and you haven't heard about the Snyder Cut, then I don't know what to say. But anyway, if you don't understand what's going on with it, BB Nate, who has been him watching this progress all along, is going to give us an education.
Mm-hmm.
So go.
So we had the beginning. We're going all the way back to the beginning of the DCEU, of course, with Man of Steel releasing. Fantastic movie. And then couple years after that, we had BVS release, which is also, I consider to be a fantastic movie. But production of Justice League started right at that point. It was going smoothly. We had a good amount of updates about what was going on. It was very, very exciting. Everybody was so excited for it. And then Zack Snyder had a family tragedy, which I don't think should we get into it?
Yeah, you can share it. It's fine.
So his daughter, Autumn, sadly committed suicide during the production of the Justice League movie. And what led him to step down from Justice League was he didn't have the will to keep fighting for his movie because Warner Brothers just kind of kept interfering, and he just was like, I need to be with my family for now. He's like, my family's more important. And so Warner Brothers put Joss Whedon, the director of Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron, in his place in 2016. All of the stuff was going on. It was shot. We heard that there was not very many reshoots, and this was Zack Snyder's full vision coming to life. So it was still very exciting. So Joss Whedon's version of the film comes out Christmas of 2017, competing against Last Jedi, which was a stupid move.
Well, yeah, because that's like the greatest Star Wars movie ever made.
Yeah.
And I personally named one of those ports.
Yeah.
And then Justice League 2017 was not received well, both critically and commercially in the box office.
That is about the biggest understatement we're going to have on this show today.
I'm trying to stay factual. So it was just ripped by everybody. I personally did not see it in theaters. I saw it at while sitting dogs, like a few months later when we were in Colorado.
You watched it with sitting dogs?
No. Wow. Well, actually, they were sitting most of the thing. So after that, Release the Snyder Cut was a hashtag that was being used everywhere, but it really became a hold and a trending hashtag after Zack Snyder himself confirmed that the cut was real and he had it.
All right, stop there. I remember
that
it was
coming out
so
when this happened. Nate, what was it like for you when you found out that the Snyder Cut was real?
It was intense. I guess that's a good word for it. Knowing that it's there and knowing that Warner Brothers did not release it, it was
especially
disappointing and just exciting. And so after that, Release the Snyder Cut was being used everywhere for DC fans. So early 2020, on a Q&A on Vero with Zack Snyder and Henry Cavill after Man of Steel watch party, Zack Snyder himself announced that his cut will be coming to HBO Max in 2021, showing the first poster. That was an insane. I watched that moment. I tried to watch it live, but we were doing something, so I watched the clip soon afterwards. So, Dad, you watched the theatrical cut of Justice League. What did you think of it, and how excited are you for this new cut?
All right, so some context. I watched it just a couple of months ago.
Before this.
Knowing that the Snyder Cut was coming, and really wanting to go into Justice League, watching the version that the theatrical version with an open mind, based on the fact that the new one was coming out, and I wanted to compare it. I fell asleep
multiple times.
I did.
You were really trying.
I was like watching this show, and I fell asleep in the fight scenes. Like the biggest fight scenes didn't mean anything to me. The story was weak, in my opinion. It didn't. I didn't like the villain. I didn't buy into the difficulty with it, and I found I was unenthusiastic of it.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, Sammy, will you be interested in watching the theatrical cut after the Snyder cut comes out, and will you probably be going into it with an open mind?
Yeah, I am excited. I think I'm lucky I have the perspective I'm going to have, having never seen the theatrical cut. I'll be watching this Snyder cut.
Well, I've only seen half of it.
Well, that's still half more than I have.
That's right.
I'll be watching this Snyder cut fresh, so I will have no experience with Justice League whatsoever. I mean, I know the whole lip situation and stuff like that. But otherwise, I will be going into this completely fresh. So I'm excited to see that and then go back and watch the theatrical cut and compare it retroactively because it may be better, it may be worse, but I'm really excited.
That'll be an interesting perspective for sure.
So after the Snyder cut was announced, the hype was real. It was insane. Soon after that, we get the first trailer at DC Fandom and some kind of details of what it's going to be, and it blew up. Everybody was talking about it.
I remember you stayed in the condo and were like,
I did
watch the whole stream.
I didn't hang out with Sammy at his girlfriend's birthday party to watch a DC stream because I have to have priorities.
Sorry, Savannah.
Yeah.
All right.
So after that, we get the release date, which was also very exciting, and a complete accident by Zack Snyder himself. We didn't get the official date, but we got it was coming in March. So that was exciting. And then we got little pictures and maybe a couple clips every now and then from Zack Snyder. We had a Justice is Grey clip from Steppenwolf. That was awesome. And then we got the final trailer, the official trailer in February on Valentine's Day. And that was an awesome trailer. I loved that trailer so much.
I don't even think I've seen it.
Yeah, we watched it together.
I remember that one now.
And then very recently, a couple days ago, it ended. But we had a full week of character teasers.
Yeah, that was awesome.
We had, including Steppenwolf and Darkseid, which was really, really cool. Sammy, how excited are you to watch this cut, not being a DC fan?
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm excited necessarily. I don't know the best way to describe it. I'm excited. Okay, yeah, excited is a good way to put it, but not because I'm a DC fan. I want to see the Justice League. I'm just more like, this could be an interesting movie. I'm more interested in the movie at this point.
Well, we were, we mentioned it at the beginning of the segment. We were watching Man of Steel, and kind of surprised by how good that film is, based on some of the silliness that's happened over the years with
and
this.
If you wouldn't believe it, that is actually Rotten Tomatoes.
Really?
That's surprising.
All right, so help me understand this, BB Nate. Compared to the theatrical cut of Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, which one is ranked higher on Rotten Tomatoes?
Man of Steel is.
Okay.
But from the critics' side, they're very similar on the
fan side. I really enjoyed it. Interesting.
But Ultimate Edition, that 30 minutes makes a huge difference. Dad, do you think that fans are too hyped for this movie and that the backlash will be completely overwhelming if it doesn't meet their high expectations?
This could be worse than Last Jedi.
Yeah, here's my concern. And again, we have functioned for 4 years now in a bubble of Star Wars fandom. Okay.
Yes.
And we've talked about this on the show. I don't think it's joked about on Big Bang Theory.
Yeah.
Like we watched the episode it was last night where The Force Awakens comes out. and the three guys, not Sheldon, but the other guys, Leonard and Howard and Raj. They go with Will Wheaton.
The Star Trek
who
dude.
plays Wesley Crusher in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and there's this whole dialogue about y'all chill out. It's just a movie.
You'll wake up tomorrow whether this was a good movie or not, and your life will be no different.
Exactly. So Star Wars fans are known for overreacting, and so my concern is based on 4 years of being in that environment exclusively. Okay, I'm hopeful that fans are not so hyped about this movie that it can't meet expectations. But at the same time, very concerned about it. I mean, you, BB Nate, you are so hyped about this movie. Like everything is Snyder's Justice League
for years now.
Yeah, I just wonder if the hype is so big that there's absolutely no way to match up, to meet it.
I get that. So, There are a lot of differences as well from the theatrical cut. There are 3 big differences. Zack Snyder has complete creative freedom for this movie. It is his original script, his original vision. The one that Warner Brothers said was too scary to be putting out in theaters. And for...
It got rated R, right? It's like an R rating as a theatrical release. Wow.
And the reason it was too scary is they were planning on, this is PG-13 and kids normally watch the MCU, and so they wanted it to be more light. That's why Steppenwolf's design is more of a human than what we see in this movie. Might have been too freaky for 7-year-olds that watch the Marvel movies or something like that.
That's fair.
I don't think it's freaky at all.
No, but for a 7-year-old, that might be a little bit.
Okay.
And Darkseid's a little bit freaky. So also the main overarching villain, not just Steppenwolf, but it's going to be Darkseid.
All right, so I'm trying to make this make sense. Do forgive me for using Marvel as an analogy.
It's fine. Mm-hmm.
Steppenwolf is to Darkseid as Loki was to Thanos.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a good way of putting it.
Help me understand that.
So Steppenwolf is the right-hand man, kind of the warrior for Darkseid, the conqueror. Darkseid does conquer worlds.
And so in the MCU,
Loki
going back all the way to Avengers,
yes,
he's working in concert with Thanos.
Yes.
And that's why he's sort of... I guess I never made that connection.
But Steppenwolf isn't doing it for his own personal gain. He's more doing it because he knows that Darkseid would probably kill him if he doesn't do what he's supposed to do. So, and number 3, the third big thing, is the main character's arcs and story will be explored in more detail and will have actually more emotion and conflict behind them. This movie will also... have a big cliffhanger. It will not end, really. It will leave the door open. And, well, we already know what the cliffhanger is. If you've...
well, don't spoil it.
I'm
not spoiling it at all, but we kind of know what it is. And so... it's not really disappointing, but it does leave the door open for 2 and 3, which I hope, if this is big enough, that we get those on HBO Max.
Fans made this happen. So.
Exactly. And there are a couple character design looks changes. Of course, we talked about Steppenwolf. He will look completely different than his original look, but he will look like the BVS one we saw at the end of the Ultimate Edition. And Superman will be wearing his classic black regeneration suit from Death of Superman and Reign of Superman.
And from Man of Steel. Doesn't he have a black suit?
He has it on for a little bit.
It's like a vision or something he's got.
It is. And the runtime is probably the biggest difference than the original 2-hour runtime.
It was only 2?
It was only 2 hours. They made him do it 2 hours because they're like, we don't want it to be that long.
Wow. And well, it wasn't even Zack Snyder's.
It wasn't. They were telling him to make it 2 hours, and he's like, I don't know, I'm going to fit all this in 2 hours.
Wow.
And so that's more all the differences that we have for this movie. Of course, the story will also be completely different. But Dad, you had the original Death of Superman comics.
Until my mother got... I'm like the classic... mom gave my comic books away guy.
Mint everything, both series.
I had two issues of all of the Death and Reign of Superman comics. One of them still in the packaging.
One of them he got to read.
One of them I read, and I that was like a fantastic arc.
All the variants.
I'm excited to see the black Superman suit. I'm just trying to understand how it's gonna all tie together. I've still got that comic book series in my head when I watch Batman versus Superman. I've got that with the Doomsday-esque character. I guess you've explained that that's not Doomsday.
It is. It might be this universe's Doomsday, but the real Doomsday is still out there. Okay, we learned that in BVS. So,
right. So I'm just trying to figure it all out. But I'm excited to see the continuation of that story and see where it goes. Absolutely.
And we also learn more about the black regeneration suit from Man of Steel. We see all of the General Zod's people wearing that, and they're allowed to use some of Superman's powers because of the black suit from the radiation.
Interesting.
Sam, you've never been a huge fan of DC. Not that you don't not like it, but
Right.
you aren't as big of a DC fan as you are a Marvel fan. What are you most looking forward to in this cut, if anything?
Well, the thing I've always liked about DC is the character of Batman. That's what I have always consistently liked. I'm not as big of a fan of him as you are, Nate, but that's the character I've always been more interested in because it is very similar to Iron Man. But I'm hoping to see more Batman. He was good in that Batman versus Superman. It was an interesting take on the character, older. Didn't like how he killed, but that's just me. I don't think Superman should kill or Batman should kill. But regardless, it was a very interesting take on the character, and I'm excited to see more of that. Also, just the more heavy tones that DC brings with it, with all of its content. I'm curious to see where they go with that too.
Yeah, it's exciting. We actually learned why Batman killed in BVS. It was because after Dick Grayson was killed by Joker, he lost most of his faith in the good of humanity and thought these people aren't worth protecting.
How do you know that, though? Is that something like in a
Zack
comic?
Snyder
or
said.
Zack said it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Here's the thing, just for you listening to this right now. Sam, you researched a lot for the Falcon and the Winter Soldier segment.
Yes.
Not that you aren't following that storyline and trying to understand it, but you researched a ton.
Yes.
In order to do this. All of what just came out of BB Nate was already
memory.
in his head.
Yeah.
When we started planning this, he just put it in an order. He didn't need any research. This is how excited he is for this movie.
And continuing on the whole Batman killing, Zack Snyder also said after Superman killed Doomsday and died himself, his faith in humanity was restored.
Okay.
Even though
in the
it wasn't
good.
a human.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that's interesting.
And so he won't kill in Justice League.
That's
Good.
awesome. Awesome. Well, cool. All right. It's a good time to be a fan of the stories and the characters who've come out of Star Wars animation. We may finally be getting the answer to the question, where's Ezra Bridger? There is a rumor that General Hera Syndulla will be leading the Rangers of the New Republic, and we're being reunited with the Bad Batch on Star Wars Day. That's all coming after these ads that were personally chosen for you because you filled out that Which DC Hero Are You quiz on Facebook last night. This is Tatooine Sons.
Hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
Rebellions are built on hope.
Force is with me, and I am with the Force.
If you live long enough, you see the same eyes in different people.
He thinks it's really once he got past the second season, or got through that second season, he's really, really enjoying it.
Smart kid. Well, is now a smart kid.
So
he really liked the episode where Rex was fighting that decommissioned commander trooper.
Yes, such a good.
So Sam's best friend Tristan, who's a big Star Wars fan, but he was more Clone Wars as far as animation goes, is finally watching all of Rebels.
Yes.
Has you gotten your girlfriend to watch Rebels yet?
No.
All right, we have to work on that. Okay. That actor who played a street rat in Disney's live action remake of Aladdin, is rumored to be playing our favorite Loth rat in live action. Kessel Run Transmissions, the YouTube Star Wars scoopers, who were the first to report that the Bad Batch series premiering in May was in development, claims that they have multiple sources saying that Mino Massoud has been selected to play Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka series being developed. The idea has been floating around as a possibility for a while now, so that's not exactly a surprise. I'll start with you, BB Nate, because this is something you're very excited about. How do you feel about the idea that we're finally going to get the rest of the Ezra Bridger story?
I think I've expressed the answer to this exact question multiple times on this podcast, but it's very exciting. We're finally getting something. Stupid Clone Wars can't take away Rebels' thunder. But it's so exciting.
You like Clone Wars.
I like Clone Wars, but not as much as Rebels.
Okay.
And it's exciting that we're getting Rebels, at least some Rebels characters in live action. That is very, very exciting. And So excited for the Ahsoka series.
Yeah, Sam, what do you think about this? And what do you think about the character for the actor from Aladdin, Mina Massoud, playing this character?
I think it's actually a really good casting choice. And the look works, and even the character, like his acting style, fits the character pretty well. It will be a bit of a change, but just like Ahsoka going into live action was a change, it will get used to it pretty quickly. I think that them bringing it in through the Ahsoka series is a good choice. I feel like a whole series dedicated to it would be a little bit much. So then,
you watch your language.
I would watch it, but I think that them using the Ahsoka series to flesh out that character and flesh out that story is a good decision, and it will give it a plot.
What if the series there is also that rumor floating around, like that Ezra and Thrawn are getting their own series. What if that series tells a story between the end of Rebels and the beginning of Ahsoka when they are in the unknown regions? And
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be totally okay with that. That would be cool. a lot of fun.
That's cool. All right, awesome. Anything else about this that you guys want to talk about on that?
I'm good.
All right. Nope.
Yeah, no.
I'm good. We're just excited.
Yes. Just hurry up and release it.
Come on.
Yeah. With the removal of Gina Carano as Cara Dune in The Mandalorian, a lot of questions have been raised about the future of the Rangers of the New Republic series. It was expected that Cara Dune would be playing the lead role in that series, but now LRM Online is reporting that their sources at Lucasfilm are saying that Hera Syndulla will be joining Ezra Bridger and Ahsoka Tano in live action. So she'll be coming in and leading this series. The source goes on to say that Hera was the solution because her story is already familiar and she's well loved, a lot like the character of Cara Dune. Samuel the Hutt, can Hera Syndulla's transition into live action be enough to pull this series back into what it was originally hoped to be?
I do. I think that would be a good character to bring in, just because she's versatile enough to be able to play things. But my only hesitation is she's a pilot, not a ranger. How's that going to play into things here? Maybe she'll just be kind of like the role that she played in Squadrons, even though that was still a piloting game. She was kind of there to like usher the team on and give them missions and stuff, but wasn't really like upfront and central character. She can maybe do that, but I'm still hesitant about the whole she's a pilot, not a ranger thing. It would have fit Cara Dune's character better for that. Am I excited for the possibility to see her in live action? Absolutely.
Yeah, I think that the interesting thing there is that we're dealing with at this point it could be 10 years after the events of Rebels. 12 years after the events of Rebels. She's a general. She's become a leader.
She's a mom.
She's a mom. That's really interesting. Could we see Jason Syndulla?
I would like that.
12-year-old Jason Syndulla.
That would be curious.
Oh, wait. No. The epilogue took place after 6.
Oh, that's... Well, yeah, no. So he'd still be 12 years old.
Just about, yeah.
At that point. Yeah, anyway. So what do you think about this, BB Nate? Are you excited about the idea of Hera Syndulla coming into live action? And
it's more Rebels. So.
Exactly. It's more Rebels. I'm always excited to see it. Am I disappointed that Cara Dune's leaving? Of course. But I think that the right choice after that would be Hera. I think that the fact we already have this character set up, and if it's put into live action and people don't know who she is, more viewership for Rebels goes up, so that's also a plus. And we get the amazing storyline and conflict that Hera has with Kanan dying and Jason being there, and so I think it'd be very interesting to see it.
Single mom Hera Syndulla
with makeup, which is weird.
Yeah, the makeup at the end of Rebels was a little
strange.
Oh, she was wearing makeup on that?
Yeah. You don't remember that?
I don't remember it.
Yeah, she was wearing makeup.
She was looking for a baby daddy.
Yeah.
Now the Kanan's not here. I got to get my game up.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. We are getting the Bad Batch series, and it will be premiering on Star Wars Day.
Yeah.
Last year, May the 4th be with you, was the day that the Clone Wars series came to a close. But of course, this year, Star Wars Day will be when the next Star Wars animated series premieres. The Bad Batch is coming. It will show Clone Force 99 as they navigate Order 66, and then the fall of the Republic and the rise of the Empire. You guys pick who goes first. What are you most hoping to see in the series?
I'm excited to just see the series. I'm hoping that the Bad Batch don't have chips, and we see the conflict of them not following Order 66, and because they can take on any clones. They're smarter, they have more experience and knowledge in combat and everything. I'm just a little disappointed. This came out a year after Clone Wars Season 7, and nobody asked for it. But, 4 years after Rebels, and we still have nothing.
You're a little bitter, bro.
I am
it's a good thing that we're adding some DC into your fandom conversations, because you're starting to turn into one of those whiny fanboys.
No.
Star Wars fanboys.
But I am very excited to see this series. I loved the Bad Batch. I hope that we see more Cyborg Echo, which is really weird.
Yeah.
I loved that character in the Bad Batch arc, so...
Yeah, I'm really excited. I loved the idea of these characters in this.
You were excited when they first announced the Clone Wars Season 7.
Yeah, even from Celebration and stuff. So I loved the whole tactics and them working together and stuff. That whole team aspect was a lot of fun to watch, and I can't wait to have a whole series with just that, pretty much. I think they can do a lot with these characters. They can bring out some really interesting storylines, especially for that time period, a whole new perspective on that Order 66 happening. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for Star Wars.
Awesome. All right. Is there anything else that we want to talk about?
Anything else?
All right. So happy 50th anniversary to THX 1138, which was Lucas's first film?
First major theatrical release.
So
then they had American Graffiti, so...
That one took off, but we still haven't seen THX yet.
It's weird,
It looks really weird.
It's weird.
Kind of feel like we have to watch it.
Yeah, everybody thought it was weird. So.
And Kevin Feige, whatever his name is, has confirmed that Disney intends to release Black Widow on schedule and only in theaters. Thank you, and for not releasing it on Disney Plus. I know that's going to anger a lot of people, but we need theaters.
We think theaters are important to the movie-going experience.
Raya? Dang it. I thought I was getting it right that time.
Like rye bread with an A.
So we went to Raya, and the staff were thanking us profusely for going to the movie theater.
Well, because
us and two other people.
The movie theater we went to, never busy, especially after COVID.
Yeah, well, it was good. And then Adam Christopher's The Mandalorian tie-in novel and Pablo Hidalgo's The Mandalorian visual guide have been canceled.
I was actually looking forward to the tie-in novel.
Yeah, I was too. So that's the way it is. All right. Well, guys, thank you. Thank you for listening to Tatooine Sons.
You put a Star Wars podcast.
I did. Old habits die hard. Thanks for listening to Tatooine Sons, a pop culture podcast.
If you had a good time listening, and hopefully you did, it would be awesome if you could share this with your friends on all social medias.
Yeah, and of course the show, it is the main selling point. It's only a small part of the Tatooine Sons world. So be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, join the Facebook groups and everything to get in on all of the action. It's like the series on Disney Plus for the MCU and stuff.
Okay. All right. Yeah. And don't forget to follow the show on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss our next episode. That one will come out next Friday afternoon after we've watched the Snyder Cut. Woo! And so there will be spoilers there, as well as we'll have watched the premiere of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So be expecting spoilers. Don't listen to our show until you have watched those. All right.
If you have time.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you guys want to say?
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you.
May the Force be with you, always.
This party's over.
I like that Wookiee.
Don't get technical with me.
Joy, please. Yep, yep.